Hey, we're doing stand-up shows October 20th through the 23rd in Florida and Buffalo. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets. Hey, guess what? Facebook is getting even worse. This is the real story. This is really happening. They're going to start treating journalists as a protected class. I'm not kidding. Exclusive. This is from Reuters. Exclusive. Facebook to change rules on attacking public figures on its platforms. Attacking.
With words?
With words. Again, with words on a website. That's their attacking.
And they all have health care.
Facebook will now count journalists as involuntary public figures and so increase protections against harassment and bullying targeted at these them. Its global safety chief said this week. So does that include me? Does that mean, so if someone says mean things about me on Facebook, am I considered a journalist? Because I do journalism. In fact, Pulitzer Prize winner Glenn Greenwald said so right on the show, that we do a valuable form of journalism on this show. We debunk the propaganda put out by the government and the establishment media. And we report on stories correctly, like Russiagate, Syria, gas attacks, Venezuela, the bullshit ivermectin story that was pushed by the establishment media. So that's what we do. We debunk those things. And now, am I going to be, so if Newsweek does another attack piece on me and post it on Facebook, can I get that taken down? Because I'm now a protected class. I'm a journalist. I'm an involuntary public figure, which I'm not. Journalists are not involuntary public figures. No one makes someone go be a journalist. You choose to be a journalist, and you choose to go after powerful people, and a lot of times not powerful people, and pillory them and attack them. But the people doing the attacking, they're immune from criticism now on Facebook? Facebook is under wide-ranging scrutiny from global lawmakers and regulators over its content moderation practices and harms linked to its platforms, with internal documents leaked by a whistleblower forming the basis for a U.S. Senate hearing. She is not a whistleblower. That person is a scammer who was working in conjunction, I'm sure, with the establishment and the intelligence community to get more censorship. They don't want to break up Facebook. A whistleblower, by the way, doesn't get the red carpet laid out for them. So this whistleblower is what they want. This is a pretend. She's saying that we should have more censorship on Instagram and Facebook because teenage girls have more suicidal thoughts the more they are on Facebook and Instagram. You know what? They have more suicidal thoughts the more advertising they watch. Are we going to censor? Because that's what makes them feel that way. So this is what this isn't a whistleblower. So this is garbage again from Reuters, not a whistleblower. Facebook's global head of safety. I didn't know you could fall off Facebook and hurt yourself. Keep your arms and hands inside the ride at all times. Facebook is very dangerous. Facebook's global head of safety said the company was also expanding the types of attacks that it would not allow on public figures on its sites as part of an effort to reduce attacks disproportionately faced by women, people of color, and the LGBTQ community. The company declined to share a list of other involuntary public figures, but said they are assessed on a case-by-case basis. So that's what YouTube did when we did a video of AOC and pointed out that she was bullshitting everybody about the eviction moratorium. They demonetized it and said it was attacking of a person of something like that. We attacked some person. One of the most powerful people in the world. Glenn Greenwald nails it. He says, to appease the endless campaigns of journalists to pressure Facebook to censor more, Facebook is now removing journalists from the public figure category, meaning the freedom to criticize journalists and engage in activism against their work will be sharply curtailed. Journalists have been increasingly equating any criticism of them with harassment or bullying. So often, if a journalist publishes a false or defamatory article and people object, they cast themselves as the victims. The journalists do. The perpetrators. Facebook's rule change reflects this self-pitying view. Of course, journalists are public figures. They chose a job that enables them to shape public discourse, ruin reputations, manipulate public perceptions, and so much else. That they should be shielded from public critique is deranged. But it's a pervasive view they now have. One could call this the Taylor Lorenz syndrome. So many journalists go around casually ruining, you know who Taylor Lorenz is. She front page reporter, tech reporter for the New York Times, went in, monitored people's private conversations, got them canceled for it. Powerful people, CEOs, and then claims she's a victim when people criticize her for her garbage reporting that she got wrong. She said one guy used a term he didn't use. So that's who Taylor Lorenz syndrome is, right? So she's the biggest person out there trying to wreck people's lives, careers, and reputations. And then she says she's being attacked when you criticize her poor journalism. So she's a cry bully, just like the Young Turks, who, by the way, takes Taylor Lorenz's side in all this, just so you know. One could call this the Taylor Lorenz syndrome. So many journalists go around casually ruining the lives and reputations of even private, powerless, obscure people, then instantly claim they're the real victim when people object to that and critique their work. Facebook admits to blocking WikiLeaks links and DNC email hack. This is back from 2016. Facebook blocked WikiLeaks links to the DNC email hacks. So to actual news that was super important, that was reported on, by the way, at New York Times, Washington Post. Facebook was admitted Sunday that it had blocked links to the WikiLeaks trove of emails from the Democratic National. That's what we got. Just a reminder. I just want to remind everybody in this censorship craze, the U.S. government is slowly suffocating, silencing, and killing someone solely for the crime of reporting documents that every major media outlet in the world determined were newsworthy. And few in the U.S. corporate press care because he's never been in their clique. So who decides who a journalist is? Who decides what a journalist is? Who decides what a journalist is? Where do I go to get my journalism badge? You know, I have my journalism media credentials from KPFK Radio. So when a journalist, when some hack at the whatever, Newsweek, let's say, or New York Magazine, writes a hit piece on me, or CNN, or the Washington Post, when they write a hit piece on me, am I allowed to criticize that journalist, or are they allowed to criticize me because I'm a journalist? Who gets to decide? I'll put my reporting on Syria up against The Intercept's reporting. I'll put my reporting on Syria up against New York Times reporting. I'll put my reporting on Venezuela up against the New York Times reporting. I'll put my on the vaccine mandates. I'll put my reporting on the vaccines, on COVID. I'll put my COVID reporting up against anybody's. Who decides who's a journalist? Who's going to decide? Mark Zuckerberg? That's who's going to decide? Or how about a bunch of government people appointed by corporations? How about the Atlantic Council, a bunch of warmongers? So Facebook is going to tell you what is and isn't a fact and what is and isn't news. And you can't even respond. You can't even push back. This is awesome. So congrats to all the shit libs. Congrats to The Intercept. Congrats to the Young Turks. This is what they've been asking for. They've been pushing for censorship. And all the shows that are in the Young Turks satellite are all pro-censorship. From Mike Figueredo at the Humanist Report to the Rational National, they're all protective of the squad. They all are pro-censorship, 100%. The Young Turks have been so pro-censorship, I got in screaming matches on air with them about censorship. They are down with censorship. They love it. And now they got it. Congratulations, you shit libs. You don't deserve to be able to broadcast. You don't deserve freedom and liberty because you aren't fighting for it. You're fighting against it. You're cheering on authoritarianism. Hooray. Good for you. We're doing stand-up comedy in Florida, in West Palm Beach and Dania, and then we're going to Buffalo, Baltimore, Tempe, and Portland. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for all our tickets.